Hi friends. Today we're going to read a little story, and it's a little bit different than the stories that we're used to reading because this one is a little bit more serious. We all know that we are not in school right now because of coronavirus, and this means that people are getting sick, and in order to keep everybody safe, it's important for us to stay in our houses and away from each other so that we keep our germs to ourselves. And while we are going through all of this, it can feel scary, and we might not know what's going on, why it's happening, or even what we can do about it. So this is a little story. It's called On the News, our first talk about tragedy. And it does a great job of trying to explain to us why these things happen sometimes, and some of the things that we can do about it. And at the end of this story, we're going to try to do something as a class to do something about it and to try to make ourselves feel a little bit better about it. So let's get started. On the News, our first talk about tragedy. When you observe the world around us, maybe you're watching or listening to the news. You may see or hear about things that are scary and confusing. Many good things happen in our world, but sometimes bad things happen too. It is okay to ask questions when you do not understand why something bad has happened in the world. So let's all think, who is a good person to ask a question to? Can you ask your brother, your sister, your cousin, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, or Miss Hamilton? Even though we can't see each other, we can still talk to each other through our Brightspace app. So if you have any questions or any concerns, or you just want to tell me how you're feeling, then you can talk to Miss Hamilton about that as well. I saw on the news today that something bad happened in the world. Many people were hurt, and some people died. I felt so sad and scared. And if you're feeling a little sad and a little scared right now, that's okay. I understand how you feel. I feel the same way when I hear or I see things like that on the news. The world can be a complicated and confusing place. It is hard to accept that sometimes very bad things happen in the world around us. And what's happening right now, even though we can't do much about it, it is a very scary thing. What is it like for someone who experiences a tragedy? It is very, very difficult for people who are affected by a tragedy or a disaster. People in these situations experience a lot of different emotions, like you might feel right now. They can feel sad, scared, and angry. I want you to know that it's normal to have strong emotions when this happens. Even if you're just hearing about it on TV or on the radio, it is also normal to worry about yourself and your family. Everyone is different, and we all react differently to tragedies and disasters. I have my own ideas about why bad things happen from time to time. Perhaps tragedies happen to give people a chance to be strong. Perhaps tragedies happen to give people a chance to be brave. Perhaps tragedies happen to bring people together. Tragedies and times of sadness and grief can be turned into opportunities to teach compassion. And compassion means taking care of somebody else's heart as if it was your heart. Perhaps tragedies happen to give people a chance to be kind and caring. It's terrible when these things happen. However, it's important to know that life continues after a tragedy. People are resilient, and resilient means people are strong, and people can get through things when we're together. When people come together during a tragedy, and when people are strong, brave, kind, and compassionate, like all of you are, it's easier for them to continue on with everyday life. So now What can we do when tragedies happen in the world around us? There are many things we can do. For example, we can show our appreciation to the first responders in our communities, the firefighters, police officers, and paramedics. We can also show our respect to the members of the community who help during these challenging times, such as doctors, nurses, and other healthcare workers. So friends, I know this story was a little bit different than what we're used to, but it's important to read all different types of stories because they can help us learn. So what we're going to do today for our activity is we're going to write a letter to somebody that's working in our community right now to help us and to protect us and keep us safe and healthy. So some people that I was thinking of are people like police officers and the nurses and the doctors that are out still working, and the grocery store clerks that are still there so we can get our food, our gas station attendants that are there so we can get our gas. All of these people are such important roles in our community. So I would like you to talk to somebody in your family or think about it on your own. Who do you think in your community is playing an important role right now? And what can we say to them to show our appreciation? So I'm going to put a little letter that Ms. Hamilton wrote to somebody in my community, and then it's going to be your job to do the same thing. You can choose anybody in your community. You need to make sure that you've addressed your letter. So you say, dear, whoever you're addressing it to. So dear police officer, dear nurse, dear doctor. And then you're going to have the body of your letter where you're going to talk about what you're thankful for. And you're going to have your closing of your letter where you say love or from and then your name. I can't wait to see your letters, friends, and you're doing a great job.